Being a part of the Fairhaven basketball team was definitely something special. Though we didn't play for dazzling lights or fleeting fame, we all learned lessons that will go with us for the rest of our lives.
Victory in any game begins with a mindset, an attitude, and a discipline. Whether that would be on the court, on the mats, or in warfare. Winning the mind battle, you've already won half the battle. This season with Pastor Armacost has taught me exactly that. Towards the start of the season, we're struggling, we're out of chemistry, we're out of practice. Everything's always edgy and you're unconfident. But as the season goes on, you practice, you work on things, you begin to mesh a little bit. The camaraderie is up, the morale gets up. And then in the game, you realize we have all that we need. We've been given the principles and fundamentals of the game. So now, it's all up in here. This was a great season, a season of much learning, as usual, and a season of much fun that we made with the brothers. I just appreciate our coach, Pastor Dan Armacost, for taking his time out of his very busy schedule and investing principles of a simple game that can be attributed to life and spiritual warfare. Thank you.
Selflessness that you learning that it's not about you, it's about the team, but also everyone needs to give their best. That was definitely something I learned this season, and I'm thankful to Coach, aka Dad, for instilling in us and emphasizing throughout the season. The camaraderie, of course, is great. Win or lose, we're all there at practice the next time, working on what we didn't do so well on, and working also on some of the things we did do well on, just getting better. Thanks, Coach, for all the work that you put in. We know it wasn't easy getting up early and practicing for 2 hours on Wednesdays or Saturdays, or staying up later and practicing and organizing all the games and being with us in all the games. But it was a lot of work, but you influenced all of us, and we're thankful for that. Thank you very much.
As a freshman this year, I was really nervous coming in. I didn't really have any friends, and that all changed whenever I joined the basketball team. You just feel accepted, going to practices, going to teams, just going to play the games. You just build that camaraderie and teamwork, and I just felt really accepted. That's whenever I felt I had made friends for life. And I'd like to thank Pastor Armacost for that, and just putting together the basketball team and taking time to coach us, even though he's a pastor, a dean of students, and a coach. And I'd like to say I'm thankful for the practices where he taught us a lot of lessons, not just on the court, but throughout our life, and I'm just really thankful for that. So thank you.
I think the biggest thing I learned from Pastor Armacost from the basketball season was being disciplined. Many mornings you'd wake up at 5:30 and you necessarily didn't want to, or 5:45, but practice would be at 6. And there were some mornings that would be late, and he would not so much get mad at us, but he would really emphasize to us that we need to be on time to practice, not just for basketball, but then someday he would say if we're in ministry, if we're a pastor, a missionary, we can't just drop our responsibilities because no one else may be there to pick them up. Other people will be relying on us. And then I also want to thank him for the DC trip. It was just a good time to go. I've never been to DC, and it just really brought it to life. It's one thing to see it in history books, but then when you actually go and you see where our president lives, and the Lincoln Memorial, and the World War II Memorial, it was really good to be able to see all that, and I just really want to thank him for the good season we had.
To see far away, we have to stand on the shoulder of giants. That's what happened this season. I stood on the shoulder of a giant. I saw and I learned a lot. Growing up in Haiti, I never did expect to go to DC, but God given me this opportunity to go to DC and see the beautiful thing. Wow. Thank you, God, for that. I've learned a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I'm so thankful for that. I really enjoyed the season. Thank you, Pastor Armakos. Thank you.
I'm thankful for Pastor Armacost and his time that he spent coaching us this season in basketball. I'm thankful for him for teaching us a couple of very important lessons, and one is getting up early in the morning, which requires character. And he would always tell us, he would always apply this to off the court scenarios when we were late for practice or a lot of guys didn't show up. He would tell us, what are you guys going to do when you're the guy that's in charge of a ministry, when you are the one that everyone else is depending on? You have to be up. And so you need to be able to get up now. You need to learn to get yourself up. And I'm very thankful for him for him teaching us that. And I really want to thank Coach for taking the team to Washington, D.C. I know that took quite a bit of time out of his schedule, 2 whole days, and going with us and making sure that we didn't get into too much trouble out there in the streets of Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Pastor Armacost.
Well, this basketball season's been great this year, and I'd like to thank Pastor Armacost for helping all of us guys and teaching us and showing us that it's not just about yourself, it's about every single person on the team, and that even though you're one person out there dribbling the ball down, you can watch and make sure that you get the ball to every single person on the team, which helps you to move the ball and helps you to get everyone into the sport and helps us to be one, not as in one person, but as in 5 people being one. And I'd like to thank you for the DC trip. It was amazing. The monuments and everything, even though it was my first time, it was a great experience and I enjoyed it thoroughly. Being with the guys on the trip, it was rough on the way there. You know, all the heat and the bother and everything, but it was worth it. I'd like to thank you for everything you've done, and I'd like to thank you for this season. It's been a great season. We had a few wins, we had a lot of losses, but hey, the wins outweighed the losses, and I'd like to thank you for everything you've done this year. Thank you, Pastor Armacost.
Looking back on the basketball season, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the greatest baller out there. But I do appreciate the opportunities I had to play. I appreciate Coach and his patience and working with me and sometimes reproving me because I need to be reproved. But it was good to be out there on the court, to be able to play, to handle the pressure. A lot of times you get upset with your teammates maybe, or the way the game was going because you're losing, but you had to realize that if you didn't get a grip, then you're just going to mess things up for the team. And so it was good to be able to work on that this season. I just had a great time with the team, had a great time in DC. Pastor Armacost, just want to thank you for lining all that up. I know it was a lot of work on your end, and I know it's a lot of work for you throughout the season too, to set aside your time out of your busy schedule to coach us, to be at practices, to line up games, to take us to games, and I just really do appreciate that, and just all the work and the effort that you put in for us so that we can learn and just become better servants of God. And I just want to tell you thank you, and that we really do appreciate that. And
honestly, I don't think anyone could do a greater job as Coach did with us. I mean, he brought a bunch of homeschoolers and people that pretty much never played basketball on a team together in their whole life together, and he made us into a basketball team. And just to do what he did with us and teach us all the stuff that he taught us, it's amazing. And I really appreciate him and his dedication to the school, to our team, and I just really want to say thank you.
From the first day that I came onto campus, actually, was when I met Pastor Armacost, and from that day he took me out on his bus route. I was thrown with him, and so he probably was one of his regular workers, but he got me as a high schooler and took me out to a barbecue afterward. Never forget that. But little did I know that he'd be the one to be my basketball coach, yelling at all of us on the bench and calling us all fish stick, trying to get us motivated to be a better character on the court, and also take that character with us. And he always emphasized for us to take that character with us into ministry and to utilize what we learn on the court as we go out and have a real difference in working with people in their lives, and even just our studies and God's Word. So I want to just thank you, Pastor Armacost, for taking the time as coach these 4 years and what it's meant to me. There's so many life lessons that I'm sure come to mind in every situation as I go out in different ministries, and a lot of things I can just look back and it was your influence by you just being sensitive with what God wanted you to do. So thank you for that, and keep on continuing on with what you're doing, and keep with your pastor's heart to work with all of us college students. Thank you.
The last thing we did before leaving DC was going to see the changing of the guards. And I was almost choked up when I saw that guard, stern-faced, serious, sober, taking a step after the other with all carefulness. I saw the commitment in every step he took. It was freezing cold out there, and we were all bundled up in our coats and jackets, and this soldier was just in his uniform, performing his duty and doing it right, making sure every detail is attended to, and making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And I just picture back to this season. I look back at this season and I see a coach that is committed, a coach that loves his team, a coach that puts time into his team, a coach that wants his team to excel. I see a coach that goes over a drill again and again and again till his team gets it. I see a coach that works with those individuals in the team that have problems till they get past their problems. I see a coach that doesn't only teach basketball, but a coach that also reaches into the hearts of his team and stirs them for God. We know that we couldn't have done it if we were not a team. Thank you, Coach. Thank you.